for our night of hope and hope. So there's our record. So we're official. And let me live stream and then we'll get started. All right. So I'm going to do mostly hosting, and these ladies are going to share tonight, and it's going to be amazing. Oh, somebody's calling me, of course. So I can't wait for these ladies to share their stories with you guys. And you get to kind of know some of the background of what they're doing, but also where they're going. So let me get my slideshow up and we will rock and roll. So welcome. It is Health and Hope Night, August 25th, 2022. We're so glad you are joining us from all over the country and can't wait to share some inspirational stories with you guys tonight and a little bit about the company that we partner with to help people get healthy. So what is that company? It's actually called Optavia. If some of you guys don't know or haven't heard that name before, it is a health and wellness company that we partner with and really provide like a system and structure for what we do. And it's really so much more than a diet, which is kind of what you'll hear tonight from the stories, and making sure that you understand that we're here on this lifelong transformation journey. And you'll see that in the comments below that we're here to create one healthy habit at a time. And that's really what we're going to focus on when we bring clients on and start to help them move forward in their health. And so you'll hear that again tonight from Monique and from Gayle when they share their personal stories and how they've started to move towards ultra health, which is our ultimate goal. The 4 components to our program are this, because we're not, again, like a diet. So we don't just have, this is what you eat and you move on. We actually want to surround you and make sure that you have everything you need to be successful, not just while you're losing weight, but also the long term. So what does that look like? When we break it down into 4 components. First
Kevin,
one, yes.
Your PowerPoint, we're still seeing health and hope, and we're seeing it in kind of like not the presentation mode.
Oh, let me see.
I just want to be sure everybody gets to see your fabulous visuals.
Let me see what's going on.
Because he worked so hard on them.
Oh, I love it. And Tiana's probably like going, yes, again.
I want everyone to see it.
You can see it now?
No, right now it's gallery, everyone.
Yeah, you're good. Okay, I was like, it doesn't make sense for you to see it now. So now?
Yes.
Awesome. So this is a slide I already talked about, but what is Optavia? Our 4 components. Thank you, Monique. Our 4 components are fuel and plan, and that's gonna change with you and kind of evolve as you move through the program. But we definitely give you a structured fuel and plan that's very simple. We're not going to talk a lot about the details of that because it's different depending on what your needs are and what you're going to be trying to achieve in your health. And you actually hear that tonight because the ladies that are sharing tonight, one of them did our rapid weight loss and one of them did our another version of what we do. You also get a personal Optavia coach, which is super important because you got somebody that's locking arms with you and really going to be there for you to hold your hand in the beginning, but start to like empower you and make sure that you become the dominant force in your life, which is something that's really important for us, is to make sure that the further you go on your journey, the more independent you are. And you feel like as you get towards your goal with your healthy weight, exactly what you need to do to keep moving forward in your health. And part of that is in the beginning, the coach that's going to be right there with you along every step of the way. And then we're going to give you all the tools and resources so you become more and more independent as you go. We plug you into a community. And our community is like nothing else I've ever seen before. It's really just an amazing community of people that love each other and support each other, uplift each other, inspire each other, and cheer for each other. And it's just such a great opportunity to become part of something that's bigger than you, but also helps you on your goals as you continue to move forward in your health. And then we have education through our Habits of Health transformation system. And again, we're not going to go into a bunch of details of that, but my background's nursing, if you don't know me. So, education's super important to me. And funny enough, my cousin, that's Monique, and she's going to share tonight, and Gayle, we are all kind of in this like health world before Optavia, where we want to make sure that people have education to like make sure they know what to do moving forward. So education's super important for us. And we just get that you guys need education, because as you learn what you need to do to lose weight, you also then have to shift and learn what you need to do to keep it off, and learn what you need to do to keep moving forward in your health, and not just be trying to be in maintenance mode all the time, where it's like, how can I keep this off? And Monique's actually going to share a little bit about that on her personal journey tonight too. So first up, we have Miss Gayle Snyder, and she's going to share her story. And obviously her transformation is amazing, but she really, really has this passion and desire to help people understand that as you get older, you don't have to get unhealthier. That's something that I think a lot of Americans especially have in their brain. There's like, oh, I'm getting older, so of course I'm going to start taking medicines, or of course I'm going to gain weight, or of course I'm not going to be able to do as much as I could do before. And this won't steal any of her thunder, because she's going to share a story. But the crazy thing is, in 6 years of coaching, what I've found is actually the opposite a lot of times. Like, we help people get healthier that are in their 60s and 70s. And I've even seen people in their 80s do program and feel better, and that's crazy for some people to think, oh, as I age, I can actually feel better, because that's something that we have been kind of taught. So I'm going to let Gayle share her story about her journey with Optavia and beyond. So Gayle, are you available to talk now?
Yes, I am. Can you hear me okay?
We can. Go for
All
it.
right. Awesome. I am an Eastern North Carolina native, as you can probably tell from my accent. I've lived here my entire life. I was raised in Beaufort County and raised my family in Washington, North Carolina. I currently live on Emerald Isle, which is near the beach. I'm an avid beach lover, so very blessed to be able to live here. I'm also a registered nurse of 45 years. I still have an active license, although I retired last October. And yes, I really am that old, so you do the math. I've always been active. However, I enjoy outdoor sports. I enjoy any outdoor activities. Always have from a kid up. When I was growing up, I only had boys to play with, so I learned how to play flag football and baseball and things that boys do. So I've always been really active. Currently, my biggest love is walking on the beach, as any of you who follow me have seen my lives that I do when I walk on the beach. A little bit about my story. Back in the 80s, when the wellness craze hit, I was hired as wellness coordinator for the hospital where I was working. This led me to many hours of research into wellness and what that really meant for healthcare. I think during that time, doing all of that research, something flipped in my head, because I began to see that disease could be prevented by simple lifestyle changes. In healthcare, we're taught to treat disease and not prevent disease as much as we should. And wellness, though, at that time was kind of geared toward looking at changing that. So during all that time, I totally changed the way I ate. I developed a huge desire to live a healthy life. I cut out high-fat items, started eating more vegetables and fruit instead of a lot of processed food and fast food. After our hospital built a wellness center, I also became an exercise enthusiast and taught aerobics for many, many years, and became what I call a gym rat. Um, we also raised my children to be active, and that sugar and fast food was a treat and not an everyday thing. And although they tease me a lot about now, about the dry meat and chicken that they were forced to eat when they were little, they are all still lean and healthy, so something must have stuck, and I'm happy about that. By continuing to eat what I thought was healthy and being that gym rat, I was able to maintain a healthy weight for many years. However, as I started aging and became perimenopausal, I started to notice the scale was creeping up every single year. I started noticing a little more body fat accumulation, and no matter how much I exercised, I could not outrun my fork. It just kept piling up. I talked to my doctors about it because every year when I'd go to the doctor, I would weigh, from 1 to 3 pounds more than I had weighed the year before. And I didn't like that. And they said, oh, it's just your age. Don't worry about it. You're made to gain weight as you age. And I thought, not me. So anyway, I then started the yo-yo dieting, where I tried every program out there. I had shots, I had shakes, I had drops I put under my tongue, everything you can think of, I tried it. And I could lose weight as long as I stayed on the diet. But as soon as I started going back to eating normal, what I consider normal food, I would gain the weight right back. I continued to exercise this whole time, and I was what I would call fit fat, because I was fit, I was strong, but I had too much body fat. I couldn't, my clothes wouldn't fit. I had to go up a size in clothes, and then I had to go up another size in clothes, and it was driving me crazy. I found myself at an obese BMI, and I refused to believe what the doctors said. They said it's just a fact of life. Well, I didn't want to hear that. So fortunately for me, in the summer of 2017, I noticed my daughter-in-law and my son eating these little bars when we were on the beach during a beach trip. And I asked them what they were doing, and I noticed they had both dropped some weight. And they told me about Optavia. That's when I learned about Optavia. To be honest, even though they were very successful, I was super skeptical about processed food because many of the low-fat foods that they were putting out there were full of sugar and chemicals. And I thought, it's another fad. But I did my research, and because that's the kind of person I am, I've got to know the science behind everything. And I started, my daughter-in-law was working with Kevin in Vidant in Greenville, so I started stalking his Facebook. Yeah, I did it. And to see what this thing was all about. So because he was living out loud and he had been so successful and was helping so many other people, we connected on Facebook. And in the September of 2017, I chose to join the program. And I know a lot of people start with the 5-in-1 plan, but at the time I was also running. I was doing a lot of 5Ks. My husband and I had several lined up, and I was still running, so I didn't feel like the 5-in-1 plan would be the right plan for me, and Kevin agreed. So I did the 4 2-in-1 plan, and if you need some more information about that, we can get you information about that later. I love the science behind the plan. I love that it was led by a physician, and the food I thought was really good. So because I was starting to see success, I decided to coach also. I started a month later in October of 2017, actually on my birthday, and signed up so that I could help my friends and family change their lives for the better too. I had a lot of joint pain. And my joint pain was basically gone within a couple of months just from changing my diet and cleaning up my nutrition. And going through the holidays, I went through all the holidays, starting in September, but by January, I had lost 28 pounds and felt the best I had in a long, long time. Um, my goal now is, and I've kept my weight off for 5 years, almost 5 years now, but my goal now is ultra health. I'm really, really close to being ultra health, but I have some hereditary high cholesterol that kind of keeps me out of that ultra health range. But I have a healthy BMI, and I really don't have to diet anymore. I don't really worry about what I eat because that's just my lifestyle now. I make healthier choices, and I eat healthier. As of Since I retired, I told you I retired back in October. I'm able to work more in my yard. I'm able to spend more time with my grands, and that I have 5 grandchildren, and they are my huge why. I want to be around to watch them grow up. And the additional income that I receive from coaching has kept me from having to dip into my retirement account too much. And as a former healthcare professional, we treated disease and did not promote wellness. I saw it all the time. And so this has given me a new sense of purpose. Making an impact in people's long-term health is so much more rewarding than just putting a Band-Aid on things and fixing them up and sending them out the door like we did at the hospital. So making an impact in long-term health is so rewarding to me, and I love that Optavia allows me this opportunity. I also love that I can now center my life around what matters most, which is my family and my health, and reaching that ultra health goal that I so much desire. Thank you for listening.
Yeah, so good, so good. So everybody that's on, I want you to put a 1 in the chat if you've ever yo-yo dieted. If you are guilty of the yo-yo diet, I want you to put a 1, because I feel like we can all relate to that at some level, probably, because we have all been on that, like, cycle before. And I love that you broke free of that, Gayle. I mean, that's part of your story, is you really broke free of that. And I want you to talk about for a minute too, if you could, how you were this healthy person, but you were, overweight. You had more weight that you were carrying, but you always like worked out. You still ate healthy, you did all the things. What made you decide, I can't do this on my own anymore, I need help?
I wasn't seeing results. I still kept getting, the scale kept moving up, and it was super, super frustrating. And even though I did what I thought I was doing was right, it was not working. Everything that had worked for me for years was no longer working. So I had to have some help. And I'll be brutally honest, I also was probably drinking more wine than I should. I had moved here to the beach, found a new social circle of friends, and we got together a lot, and it always included um, alcohol and wine, and I learned that I could not do that all the time and maintain my weight. So, I'm not saying that I don't occasionally have a glass of wine, because I do, but not to the point that I was before.
Amen. And I think some of that, at least my part in this too, is like learning how to, like, Optavia teaches us how to manage our emotions and make those choices and stop, challenge, and choose. That leads to less wine sometimes too, and not just our weight, because we're learning how to handle those things and not de-stress with a glass of wine. Did you find that was the case with you too?
Honestly, Kevin, I think I just really like it. I like the taste of
Oh,
it.
I love it. So good. Well, I mean, ain't nothing wrong with that either. It's good. So thank you so much for sharing, and just appreciate you so much. And just to throw this out there, you guys, Gayle, if you heard her story, she contacted me. She did not sign up right away, right? So you guys are all in the same boat pretty much. Like, you got to think about it. I want to make sure it's right for you. Most of the time when we talk to potential clients now, we don't always get a yes the first time we talk to them, or the first time that we message them or reach out, or that kind of thing. So I love that we live out loud, and you heard that in Gayle's story. Like, we live out loud as coaches. That's the reason, because we want to keep making sure that people know that they can reach out to us when they're ready, and that we are never pushy here. Like, we're never like, you need to sign up today. That's not all we do. So thank you so much, Gayle. I appreciate you. Let's go back to our slideshow here.
Thank you for the opportunity.
Absolutely. All right, let's see. Let me pull this up and we'll get going. So what made the difference? We kind of talked through that already. Monique, thumbs up if you can see the slideshow. You're my person. Okay, good. Our 4 components work together. And the reason I wanted to stop here for a minute and pause and talk about it is because a lot of the times people come into this with a diet mentality, and we're not judging or we're not saying you're a bad person or anything like that. But what that means a lot of times is that you just focus on what you're supposed to eat. You're just focused on what can I put in my mouth to get the weight off. But the problem is that's usually short term. It usually doesn't make it past your willpower or, whatever momentum you have at the moment. But when you really start to focus on all 4 components and the fact that you're trying to build a healthy life, not just lose weight, that's where everything comes together and you really start to shift. And so to do that, to help you do that, we don't just give you a fueling plan, with this is how you're going to eat, a structured fueling plan. We're also going to do the things we talked about earlier, where we're going to be that coach that's there with you. We're going to make sure you have some education, and we're going to make sure we surround you with a community that's holding you accountable, but also inspiring you to do more. So that's kind of what makes the difference in what we do. Next up is Monique Bennett, and she's going to talk a little bit about shifting focus from not going back, or like how can I not gain my weight back, to what's my next step forward, and then letting go of the old and embracing the new. So Monique, love for you to come off mute and share your story with us if you're available.
Yes, I am ready. Thank you so much, guys. I'm so excited to be here. My prayer this morning, and as I was doing my devotion time, was, God, let me be a light. Let me shine for you and for your glory, and let your light shine on me so others see it. And I kind of forgot I was even doing this tonight at 5 o'clock this morning when I was doing that. And then it hit me. I went, oh, thank you, God, for putting that word in my life today, because I needed to pray that today. But I'm going to take y'all on a journey, and this is my health journey, and we're going to take this journey down a river. Okay. I did this in a recent professional development, and this is my healthy journey river. Okay. And we're going to start back when I was younger. So middle school, even as an elementary girl, I always was heavier than the rest of my friends. And you girls, maybe the guys, I don't want to keep y'all out, but when you're the heavier one of your friends, right? Y'all are feeling me on that one. And I always was. And, but my friends loved me. I, still had plenty of friends, but I was always the heavier one. And, I found myself being active as a young girl. In middle school, I cheered and I played softball. In high school, I did softball, and I was in marching band. So I was really active, physically in different things. But I found myself in high school only eating a pack of nabs all day long until supper time, because I knew I was heavier than my friends. And I didn't want to be. Okay. And so I have a passion now for young teens who their bodies are growing and developing, and they need to fuel their brains. They need to fuel their bodies so they can be strong and healthy and they can grow. And so I love that our program reaches out even to our teens to help them in their journeys as well. So I continued to be healthy. I continued to be active. I started changing my eating habits a little bit as a young girl. My mom would try to make healthy meals, but we lived a lot off of TV dinners with, I'm not sure what was in this square. This square might have been turkey and gravy. The brown stuff might have been a brownie. I'm not real sure, but we grew up on that. I grew up on hot dogs and canned foods, and because we had humble beginnings. I had a single mom raising me. So she did her best, and we had some healthy things. We ate some vegetables, some proteins, but a lot of processed food. So I had a lot of ice cream, a lot of Twinkies. I think they did away with Twinkies for a little while, but back in the day, it was a cabinet full of Twinkies. Ice cream every night before bed. This was sodas. That was just how people ate, right? And then like Gayle mentioned, then the fat-free craze came in, and that messed us all up too. But so I had those habits as a young girl. Even though I was trying to be active, I knew I needed to do something different. I didn't really know what. So I got to college, And in college, you have to take required PE classes. Well, I took racquetball. I took a step aerobics class. I was learning some skills. It was exciting. And I found a diet plan. I researched, and it was called Get Skinny with Suzanne Summers. Oh, it was good. Okay. This was the greatest plan ever. Well, it taught me to cut out carbs and sugars and eat more vegetables and meats. It did teach me that. And I even started running a little bit. I remember, and I actually reached a pretty healthy weight. But as soon as I stopped eating that way, weight went back up. Okay. And in college, you gain that freshman 15 too. So that was no fun. So I had to do something to get that taken care of. So I go through college and I get married right out of college. I pick up running a little bit because you want to look good in your wedding dress. All right. So I wasn't, crazy overweight at that time, had brought it down a little bit, but still having to work really hard to try to be as healthy as I could. Get married, you have kids. Oh, that'll put the weight on you, ladies. So I had 2 children. And really, before I had those children, I'm still working hard to not put on the newlywed weight. Okay. I'm hitting the gym 6 days a week, 5 o'clock in the morning, hour and a half, getting a trainer, doing all these things, wanting to be healthy, trying to eat less. It works a little bit, but if you don't keep it up and if you eat bad stuff, it only works but so good. So those babies came and I found myself at my heaviest. And my second, actually between my 2 babies, because again, I'm trying to stay active. I'm trying things. I did a triathlon when I turned 30. That was between my 2 children. And I was so excited, so proud of myself, but I was fit fat. I love that, Gayle. I so did that overweight, but I did it. Did I lose a little bit of weight because I was riding and running and training? Of course. But I was still overweight. And then I have the second baby. You never take off as much. It's like it keeps kind of creeping up with each one. And after the second one, she was 3 months old. I'm like, I got to do another triathlon. It's like literally, I don't even think she was 4 months old. And I'm doing another triathlon, a lot heavier this time. The weight didn't come off really at all. So I'm still trying though. By this time I've cut out sodas in my life. I've cut out sweet tea. I'm drinking water. I know I shouldn't have cakes and desserts. And, I know I shouldn't eat at McDonald's. I know I should eat vegetables and healthy fruits. And these are all things we know, right? And I'm trying all these things. And then here comes Beachbody. I put a 1 in the chat if you did a Beachbody program. There is 18 people up in here. I'm not going to I should put my 1 in there, but there should be at least 17 ones because I'm pretty sure everybody in here has tried something Beachbody. So it was going to work because I was giving it 110% on T25 and I gave it 110%. I pushed play 6 days a week. I did every workout, but you know what? I didn't change my nutrition. They didn't really talk to me about that. I just increased my activity. I just pushed play. At the end of 10 weeks, wait for it, I lost 6 pounds. Okay, yes, I lost 6 pounds. I was so mad. I had worked so hard. 6 days a week. I did what Shanti told me to do, and I didn't look much different. Now, did I get stronger? Yes. Did I develop muscles that I did not have? Yes. Did I build cardio endurance? Yes. Was I fit fat? That's what I'm supposed to say. Yes, I was. But it did not do what I wanted it to do. I even did them shakes. Okay. I had the shakes. I did not lose the weight I wanted to lose. That was the whole purpose of doing it. That was the whole purpose of the triathlons. It was the whole purpose for all of it. A couple years later, I'm like, I'm going to start really running again. Because, when I ran back in the day in college and I was eating a little different, I actually lost some weight. I am going to run and I'm going to lose weight. C to 5K. I start running it. You know what? I'll do a 10K. I'm going to sign up for another race. I start training for the bridge run to do a 10K. Guess what? I didn't lose any weight. Did I become a very good runner? Yes, I did. Did I lose the weight I wanted? No. Make you so mad. I was so frustrated. Tried something else and it did not work. So I want to say it was the next year, my family, we're going to Disney for the first time. And I'm on Facebook, we're riding in the car and I'm looking at Facebook. And here's my cousin, Kevin, and his wife, Kelly. And I'm like, what? What is that before and after about? What in the world are they doing? I told my husband, Anthony, I said, I'm calling them right now. We are on 95 South. And I get on the phone with Kelly and she starts telling me about what they're doing. And she starts to say, well, you know, we have these fuelings that can simplify your plan and, you know, help you get at a healthy weight. I was like, oh, I got to buy food. Nutrisystem, Jenny Craig. I ain't never done those. I ain't doing them now. I know what I'm supposed to eat. I know what I'm supposed to do because I know a lot of stuff. I know how to exercise. So I said, thank you for sharing. And I just got off the phone and went and enjoyed Disney World. And can I tell you, I hated every single picture they took of me at Disney World because they take your picture every 2 minutes. I did my best to hide behind people. For years, I'd only had selfies. You look at my camera roll, selfie, 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 selfie. We got to Disney, lots of full length. I was like, oh, trying to suck in and turn and hide and get behind and smile and say you feel okay. I hated it. I hated all those pictures. Well, Halloween comes. Well, first Disney came, right? Then Halloween, then Thanksgiving, and then Christmas. And we all know what happens during those months. You put on more weight. I'd put on like 7 more pounds at least. New Year's was the middle of January. I was sitting in a hotel room. We were on a trip. I told my husband, I said, I'm calling Kevin because I can't do this anymore. Obviously, I don't know what I'm doing. Obviously, I need some help. Obviously, I need to try something different. So I called him. I don't care what you got to do. Here's my card, whatever you need, sign me up. So that's the middle of January. My kit comes and I start on plan. I didn't even know I needed a scale. I didn't know anything. I was just got my box and started eating. I don't even know if I told him I had received my box. Long story short, this has probably been really long. I wasn't checking the time. After 8 weeks, I lost 20 pounds, blew my mind. I was really nervous. Everybody's nervous when you first start. You're like, I don't think it's going to work. I really hope it works, but it's probably not going to, but I'm going to do it anyway, because that's what we keep doing, right? We just keep trying something. And I said, I'll do it for 30 days. And if it's probably not going to work, I won't spend any more money and I'll just stop. But it worked. And I lost like 12 pounds in my first month. And I was like, I got to do this again. Keep in mind, 6 pounds, 10 weeks, T25, sweating my butt off 6 days a week. I lost 6 pounds like in the first week. It's crazy. Just because I changed how I fueled my body. So I decided to become a coach 8 weeks in. 4 weeks after that, I was 12 weeks in. I reached my healthy weight. I lost 30 pounds. I was at a weight I had not been at even as a high school girl. So I graduated. I don't know about y'all. I know how much I weighed as a senior in high school. I weighed 132 pounds. My friends, they weighed 106 or 99 or 103. They did not weigh 132. I look at that now, I think there were times I was like, I wish I weighed 132 again. But now I maintain my weight in the low 120s. I had never done that, even as a young girl. I might have got close with Get Skinny with Suzanne Summers and all the running I did in college. I think I got like maybe 127. So that got me the closest, but it only lasted for a season, the season that I did what I was doing. My mind was blown. I was so excited to start sharing, to start pouring into others, but I only did it on the side a little bit as a coach. And honestly, our program's changed a lot since 2017. Transition plans changed. Our education has grown and improved. The way we coach, it's all growing and developing and reaching excellence. All right. There's always room to grow and to improve. And even in our program does that as well. So I lost my weight. I was still afraid. I was afraid to come off the fuelings. Anybody else been afraid to come off fuelings because you're afraid you're going to put the weight back on? Because that's what happens when you change your food, right? And I was afraid to. And our transition plan's even better now than it was 5 years ago, too. I'll just say that. but I really was still afraid, and I would still try to use the feelings, and my weight creeped up a little bit every now and then. Wintertime, I wasn't really moving. I hadn't developed those new habits. I just had still, I would say I was still a diet mindset person in the first half of my health journey after 2017. Well, here comes the new life books. These things are gold, okay? You get into them, they will change your life. You plug into your community on a regular basis. You surround yourself with these awesome, like-minded people. You will excel and you will continue to move forward, and you don't have to be afraid about going back. So I had learned in my first few years that healthy motion was very important, but keep in mind, I hadn't really focused on that. I'd tried that so much before. Yeah, I was trying to tone a little bit and I was doing a little bit here and there, but I didn't really find something consistent. I didn't get structured and set up a plan until about a couple years ago. And when I did that, I found that I didn't have to be so afraid about what I was eating. I didn't have to focus on the food and focus on the scale. I could focus on other stuff. I could focus on enjoying going to refit. Love my refit tribe every Monday night. I've been going now 2 years. Yeah, I think year and a half. Love it. It's a rock in my schedule. I started running again and I got a new goal, and I didn't run to lose weight this time. I ran to complete a half marathon, and I did it, and I did it faster than I did the 5 years before when I was heavier, and I ran longer, but I ran it in a quicker pace. So amazing, right? It was so wonderful. And it's because I'm setting these goals. I'm looking forward, and I've learned to establish that I need that structure. I need that support, and I want to enjoy it. I don't exercise right now to lose weight. That is the greatest feeling ever. For anyone who has exercised over and over and over again because it was to lose weight, when you don't have to do that anymore, you really enjoy it a whole lot better. It becomes so much more fun. Well, Kevin, you got a question for me? I'll just keep talking.
No, I just love it. I like hearing you talk. It's so good. And I think it's the funny thing is like, just to kind of give everyone some perspective of like me, and I know some people might feel like this, like I always considered Monique, she's my cousin, always considered her healthy. Like I never thought of her as an unhealthy person. So how honored and humbled I was when she reached out and wanted to actually start program, because I was like, she wants me to help her, because I've always been the one thinking you're healthy and I need to be like you. So that was such an awesome experience to have a gift to give her at the end of the day, or to know like, it don't matter who I am. It matters that I have this amazing program and the structure that I can teach someone how to do it. And I don't have to be Mr. Fitness King and look like the six pack and all the things. I don't have to look like that, because that doesn't matter. At the end of the day, Monique mattered, not me. And what Monique wanted mattered, not what I wanted. And I love that we have that gift to give somebody. So it's pretty cool that I get to help someone that I've always in my mind thought they were healthier than me. Like that was my default sentiment. You're healthier than I am. You want me to help you? And I would have thought the same thing about Gayle, but I didn't know her before Optavia. So she was my Optavia family only. So I love that we give that gift away. And I loved hearing your story, because it's so relatable. Like somebody said in the chat, like these are people's lives. And, these are the things that we go through. And that's why we have this available and we're able to offer it to people, because so many people struggle with either dieting in the dark, yo-yo dieting, or killing themselves in the gym, thinking if I could just get to the gym more regularly, I'll get this last 5, 10, 15 pounds off. But they've been doing that for years and it's not fun. They don't enjoy it because they're going, like you said, they're going to lose weight. And it's so much more fun to exercise for fitness and strength. Like you get to make your body stronger. You get to see what your body's capable of. That's right. Flex on them. That's so much more fun. So thank you for sharing. It was amazing. I'm going to wrap this up with this slideshow real fast. So why choose Optavia? We've kind of covered all these things, but just to kind of reiterate, we are just so much more than weight loss, right? We can get you not just to a healthy weight, but then help you have these tools that help you, like Monique talked about, kind of shift from how do I keep this weight off to what can my body do? Like who can I become in the future and move towards where I don't have to think about this thing all the time, it becomes your nature to be healthy. And the truth is I wanted these two ladies to share because I'm still working on that, right? Like I told them ahead of time, just for transparency, I was like, I feel like I put in the chat, I was fat. Like I was unhealthy and overweight. I wasn't practicing exercise. I yo-yo dieted, but I didn't do I was not a healthy person, just wasn't. And I knew the things I needed to do because I taught my patients sometimes what to do to be healthy. Still didn't do them. So for me, I had to go from unhealthy overweight to not maybe the healthiest BMI, but healthy minded, and able to make better choices and be in control of my choices and all those kinds of things on my way to ultra health, where I keep moving forward. And the cool thing is this program does all of it. It's the whole gambit. Like you can go from the unhealthiest person in the world and work through this program and have all the tools to give you ultra health and move towards that instead of losing the weight and then cycling back to where you started, which is what most people do. Just to tell you, if you've never heard Optavia before, we're getting real popular, y'all. So you're about to hear it because we're everywhere, as evidenced by all these advertisements you see. We've been on Men's Health, we've been on Today Show, we've been in Shape Magazine, Women's Health, featured in People Magazine and Essence. We're all over the place, all these talk shows. Because why? Because the program works and it's legit and it's backed by science. And a freaking doctor is our co-founder. I mean, he came up with all this stuff, and he's brilliant. And so this is something that now is the right time. Like if you're trying to decide if this is something you need to do, it is legit. Stop doubting that, right? If that's an excuse you have out there, throw it out the window. It's legit. There's no way all these different magazines and media sources would cover it if it won't legit. So leave that excuse behind, right? And just make a decision that you can do something that'll help you move forward in your health every day, not just to weight loss and get into a healthy weight, but beyond that. And then just some stuff about our company, just a little bit so I can brag a little bit, but we are one of the best and fastest growing health and wellness companies in the country, y'all. We're not some fly by the night trendy thing that's going to go away in a year or something like that. And, this is some of the evidence of that. Medifast is what you see in the middle. That's our parent company, but we are Optavia and, one of the most trusted companies by Forbes magazine. We've helped over 2 million people get healthy now. I mean, it's just growing so fast, and we'd love for you to join if you haven't done that yet. So definitely reach out to your health coach or whoever invited you if you have questions. But that is it for tonight. Monique, Gayle, anything else you want to say before we hop off? Monique's like, give me the mic. I'll do it.
Just encouraging that to believe in the possibilities, believe that it can happen, because it all starts in your mind. What you believe, really first what you think, you're going to believe it. And if you believe it, you're going to speak it. And if you're going to speak it, you're going to have it. Okay. So I want you to believe that it's possible. I want you to speak that you're going to choose to make the changes and choose your health and to create health, and speak that you are healthy. Speak your future, speak your life, speak life into yourself about what you want. Because I have to say this, that's what God desires for you. He desires for you to be in complete wholeness, spirit, body, and mind. We're a 3-part person. I know for me, he worked all things new in my life spiritually. He did it in my marriage. He's done it in my career. And when he brought Optavia into my life, he did a amazing brand new thing in my physical health. And because of that, I can walk out to do his work and to touch other people's lives. So just believe you can, speak that you can, and then walk out in it, and you will.
So good. Thank you for sharing that word. It was amazing. And the little bow I'll put on that is stop trying to do it alone. If you're trying to do this alone, stop it. Just stop it. Stop the madness. It's not working. Find you a community that loves you, inspires you, will keep you accountable, and will lock arms with you and help you every step of the way, because doing alone ain't fun. And some of y'all keep trying to do everything alone. So quit that. It's toxic. Or it's like a PC word right now, but still it is toxic. So stop doing that. So anyway, Love you guys. Thank you guys so much for sharing again, Gayle and Monique, and for you guys to come on and give us your time tonight. And hope you guys were inspired, and go out and get healthy, everybody. Talk to you later. Bye.